Come hang out again. We gotta do some more drawings. All right, y'all ready? Horizontal crew, come meet us in the verticals. All right, let's make sure this isn't getting in the way here. All right, there we go. All right, so here's our cow folk from earlier. I like the way that turned out. We might do some more of those. All right. We ready? Let me, I need to get the, I gotta get the vertical stream up on, y'all, 1 second. This is my face. I just gotta get the stream on my preview so I don't have to keep looking at my phone. I am here though. Here's my two pencils because we're gonna be drawing with two hands. Rosie, she made it to the secret seats. Welcome to the vertical, Rosie. Thank you for being here. Popping out the chat, popping out the chat, popping out the chat. Open up OBS, popping out the chat. Thank you for the hearts, Rosie. Thank you for the hearts, Rosie. Hi, Rosie, hi. Okay, so let's go. All right, how do we feel, huh? Yeah. All right, chat, when you see a face, you need to say face in the chat. As soon as you see it, let's say face in the chat. What do we think? What kind of face do we see? That's pretty good. That's pretty quick. That's pretty quick, right? What do we think? Huh? Not too bad. Face. We got a face in the chat. All right. Something like that. And again, I'm not trying to judge too much the drawing. I just want to let it come out of my hands, express myself. The biggest goal here is to just like have a nice time, draw lines that are pleasant, draw in a way that doesn't stress me out, that, you know, I'm not trying to judge myself to tell, you know, the picture doesn't look real or perfect. None of that matters. We just want to have fun. Oh, look at this. What? We got face from Fox and Shibby in the chat. All right, if you're just joining us, be sure and like the stream, subscribe to the page. Cybernetic Fox, Wolfman, Rosie, I see you've made it over to the vertical session. Y'all, we also restream horizontally if you want to check out the first class seats. We'll also have a little after party afterwards. How are you today? How have you been? How was your life? How are things? And this kind of art we're making, the goal is kind of self-expression, to have fun, and not really kind of judge ourselves on how good or bad the art is, or if it's perfect, or if it looks right. It's just about allowing some art to exist on a sheet of paper and just kind of have a nice time making the artwork, not getting too caught up in the details or making things that are perfect. We just want to move the pencil around the sheet of paper in a way that's like fun and relaxing and therapeutic. You know, like think about the way when you write your name or you write a signature, how fun it is to write your signature, you know? What's up, Norman? Welcome to the chat. How are you? Are you an artist, Norman? What's up, Jangra? Welcome to the chat, Jangra. Yeah, so I just want to relax and just like when you write your name, when you're writing your signature, you know, you don't stress out that you don't have to make your signature look realistic. it's just about the shape of the lines, you know, and making lines with your hand that nobody else can make. And I think you can make art in that same way. And if you kind of take some time to express yourself in that way, making art, you know, you can kind of learn to kind of relax sometimes through making art instead of getting stressed out. Because, you know, I hate to think that people are trying to make art and they get stressed out and then they stop making their art. You know, it's like you don't ever have to stop. It don't have to be stressful. It don't have to be bad or good. It could just be art, you know? And I think as hard as it is and as much practice as it takes to make your art look realistic, I think it takes just as much work and practice to allow your work to look expressive, to give yourself the permission to make expressive artwork, to learn to turn that voice off in your head that tries to tell you that you're not drawing good enough or writing good enough, well enough. And I think if you can learn to kind of let that voice kind of just be silenced and focus on one line at a time, you can start to make expressive art that's kind of helps you mentally, you know? You might have a better day now that you've taken a second to do some art. Sometimes it's just about making expressive art. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm busy later. Nice talking to you. Thanks for hanging out, Shivy. It's nice to chat with you again. It's been a while. Hey, y'all, be sure and like the stream right here. Like the vertical stream. Here, y'all see some close-ups. Is it chaos? What do y'all think? All right, let's do another one. I didn't like that piece of charcoal that I used that time out. Okay, let's see what we got here. Not that one. Let's use this one. All right, let's do it again. Y'all ready? All right, chat. When you see a face, you gotta hit the chat with face. Y'all ready? Oh, was I zoomed out the whole time? Let's zoom in. All right, here we go. Huh? When you see a face, chat, you gotta hit face in the chat. Do you see a face yet? Huh? What about now? Is that a face yet? When is it a face? When is it a face? Tell me when it's a face. Is it a face yet? At what point does it become a face? Huh? At what point does it become a face? Maybe it's different for everybody. Let's go. What's up, Select Edit? What's up, Jangra? Hello to you. Is it a face yet? At what point does it become a face? You know, as soon as you see a face, tell me in the chat. Hit me with a FACE. Yeah, be sure and like the chat here, right here. Select, what's up? How are you? Nobody sees a face yet? Okay, let's keep going. Do we see a face? Do we see a face? What? Jangra sees a face. Face. Rose sees it. Jordan from BR, like I exist? Like I exist? I'm just in here tracing, bruh. Jordan! My friend. Jordan, I exist? Or Jordan, bass player? Okay, how do we think? What do we think? That's not too bad, huh? All right. Let's put some shading down. Yeah, dog, pass the Skittles. Well, it's nice to have you here, man. How are you? How's the family? How you been? Hey, I'm gonna tell you like I tell everybody in my chat. If you haven't heard it in a while, I love you. I'm proud of you. You're becoming a better person and a better artist every day. Keep that shit up. The world's a better place because you exist and you're part of it, Jordan. Don't you forget that, my dude. I love you. You're a wonderful artist. Don't forget that you got art too. If you have a bad day, you're dealing with tough times. Conflict comes from everywhere in life. Sometimes you just got to sit down in a room with a sheet of paper and a pencil and just scribble it out. Don't forget that, my guy. You can write a song about a bad day. You can draw a picture about a bad day. You can write a movie about a bad day. You could DJ about a bad day. You could work out about a bad day. You know? Back in town for game, crushing my phone anytime I see you live. I'm coming to say, hey, I appreciate it, dude. Be sure and like the stream. Hey, Jordan, we're also on Vertical Live. You should come check it out on Vertical, too. The camera angle's a little different. If you click on the Gabriel Saint Artist title, it'll bring you to the Vertical stream. It's kind of like, it's in the shorts feed. All right, it's a handsome fella here. Jordan, you've been, never changed, bud. Love you too, dude. Have you been able to do anything creative, Jordan? You been doing any designing or any music or what's been up? I'm sure it's tough to find time to do anything working and being a dad. I know you said you just had a vacation. That's awesome. So yeah, now I'm using my eraser. If y'all are wondering, I'm using my eraser kind of like a white piece of charcoal, but it's just an eraser, and I'm doing like a reductive thing where I'm pulling a color away instead of adding a color. You know, pulling out a little bit of highlights here and there. And I don't know if any of this is right. I don't care if the right highlights are in the right place or not. Like, I'm just trying to have fun and de-stress by scribbling on a sheet of paper, you know? I think people forget that that's what art is, and they spend a lot of time trying to make the perfect piece of art, you know? And I don't think it matters if it's perfect. It's just got to be a piece of art. Boom. I think there's face number 2. What do we think? My electric erasers. Battery's getting low, I think. Here, you want to see some details? What do you think? What do you think? All right, let's do another one. All right, next up, scribbles on paper. Y'all ready for this? I'm gonna go sharpen my pencils. All right, vertical stream. Look who made it to the vertical stream. Oh, wow. Wow. All right, chat, when you see a face, I need you to put face in the chat. When you see a face, you got to tell me you see it. You see a face, chat? At what point does the drawing become a face? You know, at what point does the drawing become a face? You see a face yet? How about now? We see a face yet, or is it still chaos? When? When does it become the face? What about now? Chat, you gotta give me a big FACE when you see it. Uh-oh, here we go. But is it a face yet? Come on, y'all. Alright, let's finish it. Boom. What do we think? Obscura's in the house. What's up, Obscura? The face has appeared and so has Obscura. What's up, Obscura? I caught a couple of your lives the other day. Your artwork's really great. I also love that horror aesthetic myself. As a horror film director, I like what you're doing. Your stuff is very intricate, though. You spend a lot of time on that work, I can tell. Maybe it's your face. Random Child, what up? Nice to have you back. How have you been? Be sure and like the stream, y'all. Like the stream over here. If you like the stream, it'll put tell the rest of the crew we're streaming. That's how YouTube works, but you gotta like the stream. If you like the stream, it'll tell all our friends that we're streaming. I'll send them in for them to come hang out with us. So be sure and like the stream right here, please. And if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe. All right, can you draw a face? Can you draw a face you see? Yeah, sure. Andre asks. Random Child, how you been? What's up? Obscura, what's been up with you? How have you been? How's life? How's your day? Andre, what's up with you? How have you been? Y'all, I like this face. I like the way this guy is coming out. This guy or this gal. This non-binary pal. All right, let's see. You know, and I'm just putting some charcoal and smudging it around. I'm trying not to judge myself too much about like how the drawing looks or where it's going. You know, there's so many times in life and so many events and things where like we have to be very critical of ourselves and everything's got to be perfect, you know? But fortunately, art is one of those things where you don't have to be perfect and you don't have to be so critical about everything, you know? And I would like to remind you, like, that takes practice, you know? You have to practice not taking everything so seriously all the time, you know, not just in art, but just in life, you know? And I think if you spend some time making some expressive art, you know, you can learn that not all these lines matter. And having all the control of the piece of art or knowing exactly what's going to come next might not always get you the best end product, you know? Like sometimes you just got to go along for the ride with life. There's so many parts of life that you don't have all the control and you don't know the way things are going to pan out. And sometimes if you just go through the process and you just exist, just like a great piece of art just has to exist, you know, you can learn through making art like that sometimes you can give up a little control and still end up with something beautiful. Sometimes you don't have to like make something perfect, and sometimes like you don't have to be perfect in order to like really be yourself. You know, just being yourself, just like art existing is important, you existing is important, you know. And I think sometimes making art like this, it teaches us that every single line isn't the most critical thing, you know? That voice in your head that tells you, hey, stop, you're not good enough, or that line isn't in the right place, or whatever kind of goals you have in life. That voice in the back of your head is going to keep telling you, you know, that you're not doing things right. And the answer is, there ain't no right. You know, just keep doing you. Just keep being you. Just keep moving forward. Keep making art. Keep being yourself. Keep existing. Keep making the art exist. And I think that's really what art is for. Is like to remind ourselves what's going on inside our mind, and and to let it out in a positive way. That's what art is. Art is self-expression. I think we forget, and sometimes we think that it's about drawing pretty pictures. And sometimes it is, but that's not all it is. Art is therapy. Art is taking a bad day and turning it into something beautiful. And it doesn't even have to be beautiful. Art is taking something negative and turning it into something positive. You know, taking out a bad day on art. You know, very Obscura says, I'm very close to getting the electric set up in my studio building. Once I do, I'll do more lives. I want to start an art mafia. Well, let me join the art mafia. So I've been painting a lot more. Random Child says, I've been painting a lot more since watching your vids. They inspired me to not care much and just have fun with it. Well, that's awesome, Random. That's awesome. That makes my day. I'm so glad. And you know what? You're going to inspire other people to do the same thing. One day, people are going to see the way that you're creating and expressing yourself, and it's going to give them permission to do the same thing. I'm proud of you. Keep going. You deserve that. You deserve the grace. You deserve all the permission in the world to just be you and to just express yourself. That's all you got to do. You're going to get better. You're going to get better. Time makes you better. But if you're not doing the work, if you're not expressing yourself, not only that, but like you have to like practice being kind to yourself. You have to practice telling yourself it's okay to make a mistake and keep moving forward. That's not easy. And I'm proud of you for making that leap, you know. Obscure says art has no rules. Obscure, that's true. Color outside the lines. Color right off the page. Can't play a peekaboo in a box. Thanks, Rosie. I use pot lids, scrapers, towels, flick and sling 3 different minutes. It just has to give. Yeah, whatever works. Andre, now can you do one from reference? Sure, Andre. Do you want to give me a reference? Bickus. Thanks for subbed. I appreciate it, dude. Y'all, be sure and like the live stream and sub if you haven't. Bicus. I'm not sure how to pronounce that if you want to tell me. Bicus, are you an artist? What kind of art do you do? Andre, do you want to make a request of a certain somebody, or do you want me to just look at a random picture on the internet? Does it have to be a face, or what do you want me to draw? I'm going to give Andre a second to answer. Otherwise, we'll just hop on another Tron. Be sure and like the stream, sub to the page. Okay, doesn't matter. You just want me to look at a picture and draw. Does it have to be? Okay, so let's do, I'm going to do another cowboy. I was having fun doing cowboys for some reason. This might be our last drawing of the stream. All right, y'all. I hope it looks okay. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna do a cowboy. Is that cool? All right. Let me show y'all my buddy real quick. That's my buddy. So stay hydrated, eat food, check your posture. That's very true. Good things. All right, check this out, y'all. If you haven't heard it today, haven't heard it recently. Oh fuck! I forgot what I was doing. I started drawing a face automatically. We'll come back to that one. It's supposed to be drawn from reference for Andre. I'm sorry, Andre, I forgot. I just went into autopilot. all that? Dang. But I remembered. I fixed it. You got your little chihuahua. I love it. All right, so let me try this again. Okay, y'all. If you haven't heard it recently, I love you. I'm proud of you. I'm alone in this world. You're becoming a better person and a better artist every day. Keep doing that. I appreciate that. I noticed that. If nobody else notices, I noticed that. Keep doing it. I'm proud of you for being you and for making art. And I want to remind you that art's more than pretty pictures. So when you're having a bad day, you're dealing with drama or conflict. And that's the thing about life is it's all about conflict. Even the best days we have conflict, and even the easiest of lives are full of conflict. But life is all about conflict resolution. So when you do end up having a bad day, which we all do because life is full of bad days, life is full of ups and downs. So next time you end up with a conflict in your life, whether it comes from your work or your school, or it comes from your girlfriend, your wife, it might just come from within us. You know, sometimes we end up with a conflict like a health conflict, a mental health conflict, a physical health conflict. Conflicts come from everywhere in our lives. But I want to remind you that you have this amazing superpower. That when you're having a bad time or you're dealing with conflict, you know, you could maybe you're depressed. Maybe you're doing bad physically. You're not feeling well. Maybe you could be dealing with an illness or a sickness. You know, maybe you're it's just a regular conflict. You got into an argument with someone you love. You know, maybe you're dealing with something with school or work. Well, I want you to remember that you can take these big feelings, these bad feelings, these negative emotions, and you can turn them into positive things. You have a superpower where you can take a bad day, you could take bad feelings, you could take bad experiences, and you can draw a picture about it. You can write a film about it. You can make a movie, you can write a song about it. You can draw a cowboy, you can draw a portrait, you can write a poem, you can write a book. You know, anytime you start to deal with those conflicts in your life, I want you to remember that because you are a human, you have that superpower. That you can take your negative feelings and you can turn them into something positive just by scribbling on a sheet of paper. You know, you can write a song, a story, you can draw a picture. It doesn't. It could be music, and it doesn't even have to be that kind of art. You could go work out about a bad day. You know, you could be creative, but you can transform negativity. You can transform negative energy into something positive. You know, and that's a talent that you have. That's what so many people forget. So when you're dealing with a bad day and you're dealing with conflict, don't forget that life isn't about and art isn't about being perfect. It's not big. It doesn't have to be realistic. You know, just take some time to express yourself. Make some art. Remember that all you have to do is exist. All the art has to do is exist. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to exist. So when you start getting conflict in your life, when you start dealing with conflict from school, when you deal with conflict from your friends or just within ourselves, don't take that conflict out on people you love. Don't take it out on your community. You know, don't take conflicts out on the drywall. You don't take it out on people you love. Don't take it out on the things that are important to you. Okay? When these conflicts in your life, hey Siri, stop the alarm. When these conflicts in your life start stacking up, I want you to remember that you can take it out on art. When you get into an argument, you can take it out on art. When you have a bad day, you can take it out on art. When you're dealing with terrible conflicts, when you're depressed, you can take it out on art. When you're overwhelmed, you can take it out on art. When you're feeling anxiety, you can take it out on art. Don't take it out on yourself. Do not take it out on yourself. Do not take it out on yourself. Don't take it out on yourself. Don't take it out on yourself. Okay, you have this beautiful talent, you have this beautiful opportunity to express yourself through art. Do that. Do that. Express yourself through art. And people will love it, and they'll be inspired to express themselves through art. And if everybody takes a second to just take some of the negativity in their life and transform it into something positive through art, then just little by little, every one of us can start to make the world just a little bit better. And all it takes is just learning how to give yourself permission to scribble on a sheet of paper. Give yourself permission to write a story. Give yourself permission that it's okay to have a bad day. You know, it's okay to not have control over every scenario. It's okay to not be perfect. It's okay to not draw the perfect picture. You know, it doesn't even have to be a good picture. You can't be your best. You can't do your best work every day. Some days you got to make bad art. Some days have to be bad days. And that's just the luck of life. That's just the human experience. But I don't want you to forget that at the end of the day, nothing else matters. Is that if the only thing that matters is that you keep existing with us. You know, that the art keeps existing, that you keep existing. All right, y'all, I'm going to get out of here. Just wanted to do a quick little 30-minute stream. Thanks for being here. Andre, thanks for the request. Be sure and your father said my art is kind of like Picasso. Will you tell your father I said thank you very much? That is such a wonderful compliment. I appreciate that. I have a Picasso tattoo. Well, here, let me show you some more of my drawings that we drew on stream. Yeah, be sure to subscribe. Your mom agrees. Thank you. Thank you. Well, let's look at some more drawings. You know, you can draw like this too. Picasso said he spent the first half of his life learning to draw realistically. And then he took the second half of his life to learn to draw like a child again. And I think sometimes there's something we could learn from the way a child draws. And I think some of it is like giving ourselves some permission to kind of make a mistake. Just keep moving forward. You know? And you have permission to make mistakes and just keep moving forward. Don't forget that. And the more you keep moving forward, the more you give other people permission to do the same. You know? Little by little, one artist at a time, one piece of art at a time, we're going to express ourselves. We're going to take negative energy and we're going to turn it into something positive. And one by one, we're going to make the world a better place just by drawing, just by making art, just by making films, writing poems, writing stories, painting, taking photos. Here's our last one of the day. All right, y'all. Don't forget, The world's a better place because you're in it. Stick around. I love you. I'm proud of you. Take it out on art. Don't take it out on yourself. You're not alone. We're here to chat. Make some art. Come hang out with us. We'll see you next time. Like, subscribe, all that other stuff. See you later, y'all.